Girl, what? It's always something. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Samira, where we discuss all things pop culture and entertainment. And if you're interested in any of those topics, I would hit that subscribe button. But today we are getting into Miss Amanda Seales and the Shannon Sharpe or Club Shay Shay interview. Obviously, it has been making rounds and everyone is giving their opinion. Even Amanda has been giving her opinion and going off online. And it's just like, it seems to have a split, right? There are some people who are on Amanda's side and the interview helped them see a different version of her, Amanda, or maybe help them see her side. And then you have the other people on the other side who don't like Amanda and find Amanda highly annoying and unlikable. And I will say Amanda Seales is very unlikable. I'm sorry. She's not a likable person, and she doesn't try to be likable, to be completely honest. After watching her interview, she's not trying to be liked. But what I will say about Amanda Seales is the work that she does as far as social justice and working for the Black community is very important, right? And that job you can't really be nice in the position that she is. There's no niceness in social justice. Being out there on the front lines fighting for us, that takes a special type of person. Not everybody can do that. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of hate. It's a lot of distrust. You're always arguing. You're always in a fight. You're always going to be fighting in that line of work. So in that line of work, I completely understand. And I admire anyone who can work in that type of environment and be a social justice warrior, because baby, that is one hell of a job. I don't want to go into, I will say a personal story. I know that fighting on the front lines of social justice, on the front lines, protesting wasn't for me in 2020. When there was, this isn't funny, this is a true story. In 2020, there was the BLM riots and protests that were going on. I attended a protest, y'all. One of my friends was the leaders of the protest, and it was the height of the summer where everybody's blood was boiling. And I remember going out there and oh my God, it was so much energy from the crowd, energy from the other side. I remember walking down the highway in between cars and people I'm pretty sure people called me the N-word that day. I had never experienced that in my life. The way they looked at me in total disgust, people from the opposite side, I was not used to. The energy I got and felt that day, it was so intense, so much. I never went back. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But that just wasn't my ministry. Protesting on the front line, it wasn't my ministry. I stole this from Funky Dineva. I'm more of the communications department. That's what I can do. I know my role. But Amanda, no, she's like a frontline type. She wants to argue you down. And she's very educated in her right, and good for her. But I think that anger and that combativeness tends to linger over in her everyday relationships and in her everyday life. And that is where the problem lies. So let's get right into the interview. Now, I watched the interview. Y'all know Shannon Sharpe's interviews are like 5 hours. I don't have time for that. Like, at first, I thought I didn't have time for it. So I had watched the clip, and it was the one with her speaking about her time with Issa Rae. And as I'm watching that 2 hour or so clip, I'm into it a little bit, and I just noticed things of how Amanda was acting and things that she was saying. And I realized this girl doesn't have social cues. I noticed that she was missing her social cues. And I was like, I think she may be on the spectrum. I feel like she may have a little bit of neurodiversity somewhere in there. And mind you, I didn't even see the whole interview yet. I was just watching a part, and this is what came up to me. She may be on the spectrum just a little bit, because she's missing some social cues. Because every time she don't know what's going on, don't know when people don't like her. She don't know when somebody got a problem. She's clueless. She's lost. not there. And I'm like, oh, he may be on the spectrum. So after that clip, I watched the interview in its entirety of 4 hours, 3 hours, or whatever it was. It was a hard watch, but I will say Amanda is fascinating, right? She's very fascinating. And she stated in there that, she was diagnosed with autism. And I was like, oh, right, it makes a little sense. That would explain some of her behaviors, right? But this is the problem. It will explain some of our behaviors, but it is not an excuse for our behaviors. Being autistic does not give you the right, or being on the spectrum doesn't give you the right to be a complete asshole. And some of the times I see Amanda talking or how she speaks to other people, it gives a complete asshole. When she told Shannon, she was like, took you a little while, but you're finally there. You got it. Right? I was like, ugh. And then when she said, oh, sharp, you're not so sharp. You're sharp, then you got to have sharp and sharp to be smart. She was calling that man stupid and dumb to his face. And a lot of the comedians have actually been coming on there doing that, honestly, because Cat Williams did it too to Shannon. I don't know if Shannon was catching it, but I was catching the shade. You don't have to be so mean, especially to somebody who's not being mean to you, somebody who just doesn't agree with you. So I think the first argument, they were talking about kids talking back, and Amanda was explaining how she was dealing with a racist teacher, and she felt like that she corrected the teacher, and the teacher then didn't really see it for her after that. And Shannon was kind of like, well, all adults, doesn't matter if they're black or white, they don't like when any child corrects them. So why does that make it a racist thing? And I know people are like, why are you standing up for white people? And why are you countering racism? It's her experience. And I'm sorry, y'all. Some things do need pushback. I'm sorry. That is a good point. I'm not saying that the teacher wasn't racist, and I'm not invalidating your experience. That is your experience. But what Shannon was trying to do was show her another side, pushback. But did you ever consider this as well? Because from my point of view, I would see it as that. And I don't have a problem with Shannon doing that. I actually agree with Shannon on that. But I'm not invalidating anything else that Amanda said, because that probably did happen, and that teacher probably was racist. But that one experience, I don't think you can chalk that up to it's because I'm black. You know what I mean? And when you're listening to these people's stories, I think it's also important to remember you have Amanda's side, you have the other person's side, and you have the truth. These people come on these podcasts, or they're the person that is getting interviewed, and they tell their side of the story, and good, that's what they're supposed to do. But we as listeners also need to listen and have discernment when you are listening. Public opinion is swayed like this. You see how people weren't on Amanda's side. As soon as Amanda came and told her story on Shannon Sharpe, now they're pro Amanda. Oh, y'all did Amanda wrong. Issa Rae is not for black people. I mean, she changed your mind that quick. It's literally crazy to me how y'all can switch up opinions when you hear one person's side. You cannot change or come to a full opinion after hearing one person's side because you don't have all the facts. Gather all the facts and then make your opinion. I'm not going to be like, yeah, Amanda, and I have discernment. So I already know. And one of the stories that was also very questionable. Well, I'm not going to say questionable because I'm not going to make it seem like that. But one of the stories she was telling is how she got fired due to not responding properly in email. She said she's a very literal person. So in the email, they were asking her yes and no questions. So she was answering yes, no. In an email for an employer that you're working for. So if somebody's asking you, hey, would you like to come and perform at 8 o'clock tonight? Yes. There will be a dress rehearsal. Will you be there? No. Well, we would really like you to be there. Do you think you can reconsider? No. I'm firing you. I'm not going to want to work with you. You guys, email etiquette. Maybe it's because I've worked in a corporate setting for so long. There is just a way you deal with other people and a way you deal with higher ups. You just don't be answering yes and no, because that comes off as very cold and it comes off as disrespectful. answering in a nice way of, yes, I would love to, or no, I apologize, I can't make it at that time. It just doesn't work for me. Having some type of explanation of or being courteous does not mean you are tap dancing. And Shannon was like, oh, yeah, I mean, you just answer yes or no. They fire you if they're going to ask. Who answers yes and no in an email chain to all the questions? That is not how the real world works. So please cut it out with that. And being neurodivergent is not an excuse for being an asshole. Amanda knew exactly what she was doing in there. You knew that would come across rude or just wouldn't come across right, but you didn't care. You didn't care because you're doing what you believe is right. You don't feel you should have to because you feel that is performative. But that is your feelings. Again, that is not how the real world works. And my point to Amanda is, if you don't want to participate in the way the world works or the politics of Hollywood, then don't. Like, you can't have it both ways. What do you want to do? Do you want to play in Hollywood and brush shoulders with the Issa Rays of the world and all the A-list celebrities? Or do you want to fight for social justice and change? I really feel like you got to pick a side, because this going back and forth and complaining about why you don't want to perform or do what everyday people do to survive in a work setting or corporate environment. Oh, well, what more do you want us to say? Of course people aren't going to like you because you're not nice. I'm not nice. I speak about this. It is important. If you're trying to work with anyone, if you want to work with people, the number one thing in working outside of home or working with people is being likable. You have to be a pleasure to work with. And not every environment is going to be good or going to be great. And you may not always come off pleasurable to work with, but 9 times out of 10, you should be. Any job that I've ever had in my entire life, I could go back through those doors and my boss or whoever was my higher up and my coworkers would welcome me with open arms. I don't believe Amanda could say the same. And there's also something to be said about having the same issue since you were a child all the way up into your 40s on your workplaces. She spoke about as a child, she never understood. People never liked her. So she was always sitting people down. Why don't you like me? Then she went to college. Why don't you guys like me? Now she's on Hollywood sets, on the set of Insecure. Why don't you guys like me? Why don't you guys like me? That shows me a pattern of behavior. And she says that she's in therapy. And I don't know if her therapist is a yes woman or what's going on in therapy, but everybody can't be the problem. Not from childhood all the way through adulthood, not from grade school to high school to college to the radio station to Issa Rae to BET. Everybody can't be the problem, y'all. And I feel like you can be sensitive to Amanda's feelings and her story, but at the end of the day, everybody can't be the problem. You just can't be you're not innocent, and being neurodivergent isn't an excuse for bad behavior. Being courteous and professional and not so defensive all the time. Shannon said when she came in the room, he was like, you okay? And she's like, well, I was very antsy. Like, I just want to make sure this is a safe environment. He asked for a hug during the interview, asked for a handshake. Nah, I don't do that. I don't know you like that. Y'all gonna say that's being real because we don't play fake. We don't do that. We'll do that in your everyday life and see how far you get. Be an a-hole and see how far you get. I'm sorry. It's just being real. I feel like people just need to start being honest. That is not how the world works. Somebody just walk up to you. It's nice to meet you. I've invited you here to do an interview. Can I have a handshake or a hug? It's very nice to meet you. And I don't shake hands. I don't hug. Excuse me? You're already starting out on the wrong foot. Example, I had to go to Texas for something was related or something. So I went down to Texas to work with people that I I didn't know. Only seen through a computer screen. This would be my first time meeting them. I'm not from Texas. I'm an East Coast girly. So I go down there to these Texas folks. I've seen them maybe on the computer for like a year now. So actually meeting them. So in person, I'm from the East Coast. We don't hug. And I don't even know you like that. So nice to meet you. These people from Texas were like, oh, we hug down here, girl. Give me a hug. It's so nice to finally meet you. Did I say to those people in Texas, no, I don't do the hugs. Don't hug me. I don't like that. Because that would be starting off the relationship on a wrong foot. Sometimes you just have to be courteous and be nice to other people. It's not going to hurt me any. If it's not hurting you, why start off a relationship on a bad note? And I feel like I'm pretty positive Amanda goes around starting off relationships on a bad note. She's leaving a sour taste in people's mouth. And she can say, oh, we need to understand each other. Everybody is not the same. And true, everybody is not the same. And we have to respect other people's different ways of life and how they carry themselves. Like, yes, I understand you're probably more to yourself. You're quiet. You're standoffish. I'm going to give you your space and I'm going to be your... Don't worry about it. But I'm also going to need you to be courteous and nice. And another situation in the Shannon Sharpe interview is when Amanda was telling the story of being on the Insecure set and she got in trouble for using the N-word. The N-word that ends in an A. I'm not even going to say it because I'm just not. So she's a guy that she doesn't know that is on set. This is a job, y'all. This is a work environment. I don't care that it's Insecure. I don't care that it is an all-black cast. This is still a job in a professional environment. And it's like, oh God. Having to explain this to people, it can come across like, but it's true. Like, if you want to work in those type of environments, you have to know how to work in a professional environment. So I think the guy may have had a Malcolm X shirt on, I believe she said. And she said, oh, you a revolutionary N-word to a man she don't know, who was also at work on a professional environment. She don't know this man from a can of paint. And she was called to the office, or HR then reached out to her and said, you called this man the N-word. He doesn't want to be referred to as that. Please apologize. And listen, I get it, Amanda. Him reporting her to HR was kind of crazy to me. But again, and me having to apologize, I might have would have let it slide one time, but 2 or 3 times I would have corrected you. Please don't call me that. I'd appreciate it. I'm not that. But I don't know if this was her first interaction with this man, or maybe she rubbed him the wrong way before. We don't know. But you don't go up to, and this is, honestly, I don't do this to black people either. You don't go up to a random black person that you just be like, my N-word, when you don't know the person. That is something you share between people. There's a camaraderie between friends or family. That's something I'm saying to you if I know you. You know what I mean? That's how people use the word. You don't walk up to somebody, I have no idea who you are. You got on a black or white shirt, some Malcolm X shirt, could be a Martin Luther King shirt. And I'm like, that's right, my N-word. No, baby. We don't do that. Black people don't even do. That's not what we do. Because I don't know you. So you may not like to be called that word. Not everybody likes to use that word. Black people are not a monolith. And if you're really for Black power and Black revolution, you should know that black people aren't a monolith. And everybody doesn't agree with the use of that word. To use it so loosely out of your mouth to someone who you don't know is insane. And her excuse was, again, an excuse. This was her excuse for using the word. Well, we say it in the show, Amanda. It's a show. It is scripted. It is written. It is not real life. That is a show, baby. What? We have shows. We have killings in shows. We have murderers in shows. Does that give you the okay to be a murderer? There's RAPE scenes in shows. Does that make it okay for you to go and do that? No. What? Again, that is an excuse. I never seen in the interview where Amanda takes accountability. My bad. That was my mistake. Or she never sees anything from another person's lens. Amanda only sees anything through her lens. And that was something I noticed the entire interview. Everything is seen through Amanda's lens, and you cannot question it because she went to college and she has her master's degree, so she knows. She's a scholar. But let me tell you something, scholars can be wrong. It doesn't make you 100% right in everything. It's funny because during the whole N-word debacle on the Insecure stage, she also had problems with Issa Rae. And it was like, Issa, you having problems with Issa Rae is even more insane. And so she's like, so she told Issa Rae she had a problem with her publicist. Of course, she got kicked out of the party. We had that whole story. I'm not going to repeat it again, but Issa Rae publicist kicked Amanda Seales out of a party. Issa Rae tells her, I have nothing to do with that. Y'all handle that. Amanda has the issue with the N-word on the stage. She comes and she tells Issa Rae about the situation. And she said, Issa Rae laughed in her face. And I'm sorry, y'all, but this people on the internet, y'all so fickle. One minute y'all love Issa, next y'all like, Issa, you wrong. I don't think Issa was wrong in anything. I'm sorry. I do feel like, honestly, it made me love Issa even more because Issa is me in this situation. Listen, you can tell Amanda is always having an issue or a problem with something. She even has a problem with Shannon Sharpe now that the interview is over. We are going by patterns. So I'm pretty sure to her with the publicist situation, her coming to her with the N-word situations, these were not the only problems Amanda had. There was obviously something else going on. Amanda seemed to be she's the type of person who always has an issue or a problem. There's always something wrong. And Issa's like, I'm running a company here. I got bigger fish to fry. Amanda, I'm not dealing with you. That's what it gave me with Issa being like, I don't want nothing to do with it. And then Issa laughing like, that story is funny. He went up to that guy and was like, what's up, my revolution? And he was like, I didn't know. And then he calls HR and you got to apologize for calling him. That is funny. That needs to be written in a script somewhere. So for Issa to laugh, she's just like, what do you say to that? Girl, what? It's always something. And then you taking her to dinner and trying to explain, why don't you like me? And Issa like, I don't know. She can't give you an answer. I can just picture Issa Rae being awkward as hell. Like, why don't you like me? And the way Amanda is so intense, I know Issa Rae was dying on the inside. And that's why she gave you that dumb answer of, maybe I just thought you were like your character. She lied, Amanda. That wasn't the truth. She didn't know how to express the truth to you. And the truth is you're a lot. And you make me uncomfortable. You make everyone uncomfortable. And I don't know how to handle the situation. You think I don't like you and you think I have a problem with you. I don't. I just think you're a lot and it's becoming a little bit overwhelming. And it's like, I don't even know if you get it. You don't get it. So I can't even explain it to you because if I explain it to you, it's going to make it even bigger of a problem. Now, could have Issa Rae have handled the situation with her and her publicist a little bit better? Of course. Issa Rae better get some HR. Because I'm her too. I don't care if you are both of my employees. I'm not handling that. I'm not going and playing employee relations. You should have somebody to handle that. Not me. Because I got other things to worry about. And when I tell you that has nothing to do with me, that is a sign. But Issa Rae, you got to understand, Amanda doesn't know social cues. So Issa Rae telling her that has nothing to do with me, you need to handle that. That means that was telling Amanda to nip it in the bud, fix it. But Amanda can't do that. She doesn't know how to do that, right? And she doesn't even understand the cue of, you better fix this, nip it in the bud, because I don't want to deal with this. And if you have somebody over you or a boss, I'm not dealing with that. Fix it. That's your cue to swallow that bullet, be a bigger person, be the adult, know how to fix situations. This is all about being in a professional environment, y'all. It's just professional environment 101. And some people have the skills and some people do not. And it's crazy because it's like all that schooling you have and you have no people skills. But what do I know? I don't know, right? You have no people skills, but you then do come off as playing the smartest person in the room. And it's like, and if you were the smartest person in the room, you would be likable. Because if you're a smart person, you know how to play up to people to make them like you. But that's something you haven't been able to do your entire life. And all you have to do is take accountability, some type of accountability for that and say, you know what? It's something about me that I have to change, or I'm going to have to play change, or I'm going to have to play nice, because you want everybody else to change and you're the one with the issue, right? Everybody got a problem wrong with you since you came out your mama womb. And I also feel like her being an only child plays a role in this, because only child syndrome is real, and only people that are only child, Jesus Christ, they are a lot. They don't know how to play with the other kids because they never had to. And their parents make them the center of their universe. And I feel like Amanda's mom made her the center of her universe. She was the greatest. She was the smartest. And she's never got that out of her head. She's the greatest. She's the smartest. Everybody else doesn't matter. It's me. Even though I agree with her, the work she does is amazing. But if you want to be in Hollywood and rub the shoulders with these people, you have to play nice, or just be courteous. Just be nice. Everything is an attack. People can have their own opinions and not agree with you. It's okay. You don't have to become upset and angry about it. The interview, the back and forth with Shannon in that interview, you could tell Shannon was over it. Oh, everybody's coming at Shannon. He's not the brightest, and he may not be, but his platform isn't really meant for that. He's not a journalist. He didn't go to school for this. He said his platform is just for people to come on there and speak their truth. You know what I mean? And everybody's like, I don't think that this was the platform for Amanda Seales. Well, why wasn't it? Because if she would have went on any other platform, it would have made no noise. Y'all wouldn't have cared. It wouldn't have got the clicks. Her story wouldn't have gotten magnified the way it do. I don't know why, but Shannon Sharpe has that platform now where if you want your side of the story to come through and you want it to be your narrative, the only platform for you to go on is Shannon Sharpe. It's just what it is. His platform is doing numbers. It gets everybody talking. So that was the right platform. And Amanda did make the most people be on her side now. But then right after the interview, Amanda's mad again. She is upset with Shannon Sharpe because of the interview. And now she's saying she wasn't diagnosed with autism. In the interview, she said she was diagnosed with autism. And I'm like, oh, girl, you didn't have to say that. You really didn't. Like, and you're upset with people for calling you out about it. But it's like, baby girl, that's what you said. All right. So just be like, oh, I made a mistake. It was a slip of the tongue. I meant to say it was a self-diagnosis. I've spoken to a lot of people and gone through the symptoms, and I exhibit most of the symptoms. That's all you have to say. But no, she's combative. She's upset. She's mad about it. And it's just like, how are you fumbling your good press that you got from this interview? You're fumbling it. You're upset with Shannon. What did he do? He did push back a couple of times. But again, everybody's not going to agree with everything you say, and you have to be okay with that. Amanda is not. That's why the interview was so contentious. She would say something if Shannon didn't agree, or he would just have to go along with, oh, all right, next question. Anyhow, now Shannon could have did a bit more of research. Calling her mom white when the woman's not white was outrageous, was insane. But overall, I feel like he gave her the platform to speak her truth. Hence, keyword on her truth, because that was her truth. And that's my opinion of the Amanda Seales saga, because it's ongoing and it will keep going. And I know this is probably a very unpopular opinion, but it's my opinion and it is what it is. I said it. I would love to hear what you guys think. Do you guys feel like Amanda is right and does no wrong, and she's taken accountability, and you think I'm totally wrong? Voice your opinion. I won't combat with you because that is your opinion. You know what I mean? Drop down in these comments and let me know. Like this video if you like it, and subscribe to my page, and I will see you guys in my next video.